Hey, good Tuesday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our market SITREP or situation report here at Top Gun Options. Another interesting day in the market as we kind of wallow underneath this roof here. What's the roof? The top, or the 50-day moving average here. We kind of bumped up against it last week. Held there for a second, and now we're giving some of this back. Obviously, the bloodbath in crude continues with literally little old ladies in tennis shoes getting ready to take delivery of 100,000 barrels of oil. So energy continues to be a drag on the market here, but really interesting. I mean, it in a vacuum, crude doing what it's doing right now, the stock market should be down. I mean, we should be down here at these March lows based on what's going on in the energy sector, and we're kind of hanging up here. And I'm not going to call it the invisible hand because it's the very visible hand of the Federal Reserve holding this market up. President still kind of slowly walking, crawling, getting dragged to say that China was knowingly responsible for this virus. I mean, at the end of the day, folks, I told you this in January. Tom Cotton, huge Trump supporter, said this back then as well. So I get my good friend G, great backswing, been to Mar-a-Lago, love him, respect him type of talk. At the end of the day, and I will choose my words very wisely here, it's potentially an act of war, destroying our economy, hurting our military. We still have a carrier battle group sitting in Guam with hundreds of sailors sick. China got the world sick, and they are responsible for it monetarily as well. And then here they come trying to swoop in and, send supplies and, we'll send you some masks. And mysteriously, they're probably going to be the first country that goes, oh, and by the way, we have a vaccine. You think I'm taking a vaccine from China? It's not going to happen. So really interesting times we live in. How about this guy, man? I mean, Bolsonaro was a huge Bolsonaro supporter, kind of the Trump of the tropics and, anti-government and let's clean up and drain the swamp and all the type of stuff he said down there. I mean, I love the fact that he's the president of Brazil and he joins in on anti-lockdown protests. Dude, you're in charge. But the same thing that's happening in America is going on down in Brazil. The governors, Sao Paulo, Rio, Manaus are all going, dude, you're nuts. We're taking charge here. And, here's a great screenshot. If you watch the video of what this guy's doing, he went through like a coughing spell, right? There's like a security detail wearing masks and stuff, and this dude's like, everything's fine, and starts hacking for like 20 minutes. He's like Hillary Clinton. So we have a couple trades on Brazil. We put on a bull put spread that's flat right now, down a couple $100, and we got long some calls. Check out what we did this morning. Look at what we did right here, man, with our Afterburner investment squadron. 945, fire. This thing, we looked at long 24 calls out to Friday. They went from whatever the alert was, 74 cents, 75, whatever. They topped out up here at 99 cents. So it doesn't sound like a lot, right? 20 cents? Well, 20 cents is a lot if you did 100, 200, 300, 1,000 contracts. 20 cents is a pretty nice move. Out in, some stuff going on here. I'm actually still in those calls. So it's kind of a burner trade right now. What's that mean? I have a bull put spread on, and then I am long those calls. Dow was down almost like 700 points. Now we're only down 500 points right now. We're starting to get a little rumblings and news across the wire that the Congress might be close to phase 3.5, getting a deal together, trying to throw some more money into the small business bailout stuff, because who doesn't need money like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse or Fogo de Chao or Shake Shack, right? I got buddies who are literally, getting ready to riot here because they can't get money from the government or pay their waiters and their waitresses. The guy that cuts my hair, his barber shop, the nail lady, they're getting screwed as these big companies are getting bailed out. That is a recipe for not good. So, oil market just shuttering. So obviously that's going to impact global stocks for today. But this is the story here. Even though the Nasdaq's getting a little hammered, tech's getting hammered today. Today, look at Amazon, for the love of God. Coronavirus can't stop America's best stocks. There's a handful, folks. We called them MAGA stocks before: Microsoft, Apple, Google, and Amazon. I can't stand Facebook, and I can't stand Google. I will never call it the A word here. It's called Google, and they are an arm of the PLA, the People's Liberation Army. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff back in the day, Joseph Dunford, like a year ago, testified under oath, not that a four-star Marine general has to put his right hand up to tell the truth. They do all the time. He said it. He's like, the Google is operating on behalf of the People's Liberation Army. That was under oath in front of the Senate. Google it. But these stocks are making up 20% of the rise in the S&P 500. Folks, money has to go somewhere. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we're going to do an accelerated retirement brief where I'm going to talk about Apple, getting synthetically long Apple with synthetic stock, or a long call diagonal, or just buying the shares so you get the dividend and selling upside calls. It's a great tactic to employ in this market. Here's another potential reason we're hovering up here and the market's not imploding. A lot of people are bearish. Short sellers, travel-related firms, hotels, cruise ships, all the, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Marriott, Wynn Resorts. Really. So there's a ton of short interest in here, right? So what's that mean? Well, those people are betting that we are going to implode and go down here, maybe retest these March lows, all that stuff. If they're wrong, right, let's say we get pulled up by this magnet to the S&P 500 50-day moving average. As soon as if this market turns around, shorts start getting squeezed. How do you get out of a short position? You have to buy the stock you're actually short. A little counterintuitive until you really think about it, and then we might get a rally. Right, so this is interesting. It's almost a contra indicator. The more people that are getting short, the more the market might actually go up. Looks like we have a Pentagon put underneath Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed Martin. When the Pentagon comes out and says, "Hey, we need emergency funds to support the defense industry," it good on Boeing and bad on Boeing. Good on Boeing for being too big to fail. If you're the chairman of the Joint Chiefs or the Secretary of Defense and you're looking at Boeing, you're like, 75% of my bomber, fighter, and tanker fleet are made by this company. If it goes out of business, we're done. So good on Boeing for being that type of company, but bad on Boeing and bad on our country to becoming reliant. Just like we become too reliant on China for our I don't want to get a rant going. I had a good one in the primary live trade brief, but who in the right mind thought it was a good idea to outsource all of our medications to CHYna? Not smart. Ben Meng. Always remember this guy. Why? Because as I was telling you, China got the world sick. This is a potential biological weapon that got loose. Get short the market, get in the cash, get long volatility, buy puts on the market. You know what Ben Meng did? I love Kyle Bass, legendary investor Kyle Bass said yesterday, this dude might be part of the Chinese Communist Party. Ben Meng is the chief investment officer of CalPERS, the biggest pension fund in the world, $371 billion. You know what happened when Wiz was trying to tell the world that a epic sell-off was coming? This dude took off hedges. He essentially was like, you know what? I have intel that I'm going to get shot down. Our fund's going to get shot down. I'm going to remove our ejection seat. Did he do this on purpose? Is he a kamikaze? I don't know if he's Asian, Korean. I'm not even implying anything along those lines. I'm just saying, who takes off your hedges, your ejection seat, as you're hearing intel, unless you wanted to do damage? By the way, he gets paid $1.7 million. He got paid $1.7 million to miss making $1 billion and to get out of a fund that returned $3,600 in March. Dude, I can suck worse than that, and I'll take the $1.7 million a year. Ben Meng should not have a job today. As I alluded to, you got Ruth Chris, you got Shake Shack, you got all the sorts of guys getting bailed out, and folks on Main Street are not. This is a very, very dangerous time for this country. When the Wall Street Journal, what did I say? Wall Street. I didn't say Main Street Journal. I said the Wall Street Journal starts warning, hey, you know what? Fed, you got to help. You got to help them out. Who's them? Us. Not Wall Street, not all the banks, not Carnival Cruise Lines, not American Airlines. How about you help the people in all these small businesses on this street in Annapolis? What a novel concept. Why don't you help the people that need the help? You got to be shitting me. I'll never forget, what was it, a month ago? It seems like a year ago, when Cheesecake Factory, we're not paying our rent on April 1st. I'm like, my God, man, you didn't have enough for a rainy day for like a month? AMC, movie theaters, folks. Seriously, $52 for like some popcorn and 2 Diet Cokes, and you're broke? The hell are you doing with your money, man? Amazon's going to hire 300 new employees. Well, that doesn't seem like a lot. They hired 100 grand last month, 75 grand this month. Why 300? Well, 300 workers are going to walk out of their facilities and protest the work conditions. As a lieutenant in the United States Navy, I salute you and God bless you. And Amazon, you're awful. As Gordon Gekko, I think that's fantastic. Get rid of those 300 people and replace them with lower paid employees. Can't say enough about it. I mean, for the first time in a long time, I might actually be buying calls through earnings. Amazon's given some back today. But after, my God, man, what a run. Look at this thing. Look at that. Listen to me. Amazon's giving some back today. You ready? Here's the daily chart. Implosion. And here it comes. This is, whatever this was, probably some profit taking at the top of that thing. And then people saying, oh, man, because in front, I would be getting long Amazon calls in front of earnings. Okay. Good stuff. Like I said, make sure if you're in accelerated retirement, you go tomorrow or watch the replay, because it's going to be a good one. We're going to talk about Apple and potentially doing a nice covered call strategy, bringing in consistent income, and or doing a long call diagonal or a synthetic stock. Okay, good stuff going on here. Feeling obviously a hell of a lot better than I did yesterday with my car being stolen. Looking at I might got a new one, man. I'm not going to jinx myself, but I think I'm going the Porsche route, man. I'm sticking with the Germans. I'm done with the Bavarian Motor Works, BMW, and heading back to Porsche. But hey, man, it's just a car. Everybody's healthy. Nothing bad happened yesterday. And some dude's cruising around South Florida with a pair of Navy fighter pilot wings on his front license plate and probably doesn't look like it. But all right, folks, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge and God bless. I'll talk to you tomorrow.